Coming up, I'm going to be talking about how Disney Plus could be adding user-generated content. Also, we're talking about The Bear Season 4 and much more. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Hi, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. It's time for a quick Disney Plus news roundup. Let's start off talking about user-generated content. So, let's put this into context. So basically, according to an article from CNBC, Disney has been having meetings like we expect them to do all the time, and regularly YouTube gets brought up about what to do. You know, and this comes from two different sides. So on one side, YouTube is just growing. YouTube TV has just got bigger and bigger and bigger, but also just the growth of YouTube, so many people using it. It now takes up nearly 10% of all television viewing. It's drastically growing and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, you were really seeing this change. And so Disney executives are looking at, you know, they've talked about the idea of bringing user-generated content onto the platform. Now, this kind of opens up in a couple of different ways. Now, it's very much a case of nothing's happening. This is just talk about what executives have been saying. This could be spitballing, brainstorming, you know, that kind of thing. This thing might never happen, but they want to try, obviously, to increase engagement. And user-generated content could be that. Now, I do not think for 1 second that they're going to be talking about just turning Disney Plus into like YouTube or TikTok, where anyone can just upload anything they like at any given point and put it out there. Because that just seems to go against everything that Disney Plus is, you know, about quality, you know, having parental controls in there. Opening up Disney Plus just to anyone to put in stuff on there just is, I just do not believe that for 1 second. Yeah, I do not get that. I just cannot see how that would be good. You know, could be putting up, people could be putting up videos with, heck, they could be uploading versions of Batman, or, you know, they could be putting, you know, violence, porn, anything like that could be put up there. And it's just opening up the PR nightmare. It's just, I cannot see that happening. However, there are some ideas that maybe they could look at a different way. And that is, you know, you could submit content to maybe be looked at. Amazon do this. Whereas if you are a content creator, they can look at your content and view that it, you know, that it is, you know, worthy of being on the platform. It's of highest quality. It doesn't break any rules. They can rate it and allow kind of a way of that content to come through. You know, there's a lot of YouTube content that's currently doing very well on Hulu or Disney Plus. There's like a Diane show and these other things that have come from YouTube. They got brought up by a big company and then they've ended up being distributed out because the quality's so good. Mr. Beast, for example, if you were to put Mr. Beast episodes onto Disney Plus and they were paying him for doing it, that to me is high quality content that could work. There is that counter argument, and I see it a lot where a lot of people, parents are upset with some of the kids stuff that's on Hulu that they don't think it's at the highest quality. So there is a problem with that. But I don't see there is an issue of, you know, if you've got a YouTube channel that makes a really good show and they can then essentially, you know, say to Disney, look, we would like to put it on there, and obviously they get some money back, you know, that could work. But the idea of just users just uploading stuff, it's like, I can't see it, because that basically turns Disney Plus into a social media platform, and there's a lot of problems with that, because suddenly then they would be deemed, you know, yeah, it would just be a political nightmare, a legal nightmare. I think just a nightmare overall. It does not seem to be the right thing for Disney Plus. But like I said, I could see there being an opportunity to maybe, as creators, we submit stuff. So, I mean, yeah, the chances of, like me uploading my video and saying, here we go, Disney, you want to put this on? It's not going to fit. You know, it's probably not high enough quality, and I would agree with that. But also, more importantly, and this is where the problem comes in, is control. Because, I mean, there's a massive Disney community online, all making videos. I mean, I think of some great stuff like Defunctland makes amazing documentaries about Disney parks and stuff that goes on, and histories of stuff like this, and that is really good. And you could think that that could be a good bit of content for Disney Plus. You know, maybe you've also got options as well where you got like theme park vloggers and stuff like that going to park. But the problem is, of all of this, movie reviews, etc., the second we would go into being critical, that is where would Disney want it on there? Would they want that kind of criticism? You know, look at the way the Acolyte reviews and stuff are going right now. Do they want Disney Plus flooded with reviews from critics like talking about how bad it is. I just don't think this is doable. I don't think that can work, but I do think that they could still like pull out some of the cream, get some of the best stuff in there. I think that's not a bad thing, and they'll just license a bit more content. That's good. But I think this entire idea is just some executives spitballing, and more importantly, trying to save money. Because why spend millions of dollars making new seasons of Star Wars and Marvel shows and things like The Bear and Grey's Anatomy and all the people that you have to employ and all the rules and stuff, when we can just say to, somebody on YouTube, oh, we barely have to pay for that. Yeah, it's cheaper. Obviously, I don't know, it just does not feel right. So I think there's definitely an issue there. There's also as well the question about what to do with YouTube in terms of the company itself, how they use YouTube. They're all looking at like, do they ignore it? Do they carry on? Definitely see like with the Disney Channel stuff, they do upload a lot of episodes on there. They definitely seem to be embracing YouTube with putting content because they know it has such a big audience of young viewers that you kind of want some of the other stuff there to make some money and to grab audiences to pull them then into maybe Disney Plus at a later date. Generally, no, Disney tends to seem to treat YouTube more as a promotional piece, where it's, trailers, clips, featurettes, things like that. They have made some shows specifically for YouTube, but they don't seem to do that as much. They've kind of pulled that back. I mean, we've had shows like the Jedi Temple event challenge thing that kind of went onto YouTube, and it was supposed to be Disney Plus. Didn't really do a lot. And also, What's Up Disney Plus was a show that they used to run, and they used to have these other shows that they used to have on the Disney Plus channel. They all kind of faded away, probably much more expensive to make. Yeah, gonna be a lot more expensive than me just sat here for, for an hour a day, filming and then editing it and putting it up there. Yeah, when they've got a full team of camera crew and script writers and presenters and the lighting, and then it's got to go through legal and all the rest of it. I ain't got any of that. I make this video, and in about an hour's time it will be up on YouTube. That'll be it, and I'm doing the entire thing from scratch. So the costs involved for me to make this video are very, very low. And obviously Disney would like that, but once they start involving all these other things, suddenly a show that's not pulling in enough views isn't really financially worth it, though they did try and get sponsors and stuff. But yeah, YouTube is definitely something they need to concentrate on. It's something that they need to, be aware of and need to use. But the idea of user-generated content, on Disney Plus, I think that is a disaster waiting to happen. Yeah, maybe you, like I said, have a submission system so you can kind of weasel out and get rid of some stuff that's not good enough. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's lots of different, there's so many different shows and stuff that's on YouTube that, it's like, could that work? I mean, I like watching like Warhammer Battle Rep game, where they're playing the games, or, if they're playing Magic games, or all this kind of stuff, or video games. I just don't see how that is going to translate very well to Disney Plus. And also, I think the quality would be reduced. You wouldn't be able to find anything. If you're trying to find a show or a movie, I mean, they could have a user-generated area, but I don't know. It just seems like, an idea that I think they definitely should explore. I definitely think it's something that they should investigate and work out the things, but I definitely feel like your initial reaction, and the initial reaction from when this story went out, most people were like, this is not what we want from Disney Plus. If you don't become YouTube, don't become TikTok, they did at one point want to buy Twitter, but they decided against it, and I just think this is a really bad idea. Hope they don't do it, but yeah, keep an eye out for some creators on YouTube to maybe do something with. But what do you think of this? Love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. Shifting gears now, let's now talk about The Bear. So season 3 dropped yesterday on Hulu and Disney Plus, and on Hulu in the US, Disney Plus in many countries around the world. I am slowly working my way through season 3. I'm on episode 8, so still got a couple more to go. Enjoying it. I don't think it's as good as the previous seasons, but nevertheless. So one of the things with this show was, when it got renewed for season 3, there was a lot of talk and reports that they were actually going to try and film seasons 3 and 4 back to back, because obviously the stars of the series have just blown up. They are popping up on everywhere. They're all so they're scheduling for trying to get all these actors in place is going to get harder and harder to do, and also, more importantly, it's going to get more and more expensive for Disney to keep bringing them back in. So expectations are that the 4th season would be the final one. Now apparently during a press event earlier this week, when asked about whether or not they were filmed seasons 3 and 4 together, The cast kind of reacted a little bit funny with it, and were like, well, we did some stuff, but not fully. It looks like apparently FX then confirmed that they filmed some stuff for season 4, but not all of it, and they're scheduled to currently come back in 2025 to film, ready for obviously for a release next year. Yeah, I think again the scripts weren't ready apparently as well, and you know, at the end of the day, I'd rather they have this extra time to get the scripts right and get it done properly. This way they've got, you know, good 6+ months now to get these scripts done. The show needs to be the best because this is a really high quality show. But yeah, so they didn't quite manage to do what they were expecting. I see why they're doing it, but it also reminds me a little bit with Atlanta, where they filmed 3 and 4 together, because essentially at that point the show was done. I can't see the Bear going much beyond that, but I also question really of where further this series can go, because at a certain point you're like, if he's got his restaurant and so on, where can they go? But let us know. What do you think of The Bear? Are you looking forward to a 4th season? Love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. Let's now talk about what's new on Disney Plus today. So the new release is a brand new series from Disney Junior called Ariel, which is based on the classic Little Mermaid. This one here is, again, new series. They did release some shorts earlier, so if you're interested in this show, I'm sure little kids are going to love it. I'll be honest, haven't checked it out. Not target audience, not really something I'm going to bother probably watching. Also today, if you're on Disney Plus internationally, we got a new episode of Criminal Minds Evolution, and if you're in Canada, you got the new documentary Brats. We're going to be getting that one next week here in the UK, so I might check it out then. But let us know what you're going to be watching on Disney Plus. I'm still, like I said, still trying to catch up on The Bear, so that's what my plan is over the weekend. But let me know in the comments below. And our question of the day, which comes from Tristan, who says, "Hi Roger, with Disney being focused to try and save money and cut costs, do you think the days of seeing legacy content are over? Because I certainly feel that way." This is a great question and comes up a lot. A lot of people do comment about the fact of legacy content just not being added to Disney Plus, and this in some ways kind of counterbalances, and I saw a few people respond with this with the topic I did earlier about user-generated content, of like, why bother? We don't need user-generated content. There is hundreds, if not thousands, of movies in the Disney catalogue, especially from 20th Century Studios, from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, etc., that aren't on Disney Plus. They've got all these shows, House of Mouse. They've got all these different things from 20th television going back, you know, nearly 100 years. All these shorts that they haven't got. There's stuff on YouTube that they've not yet put on there. It's like, you've got this massive collection of library content, and you're just focusing on, yeah, like new stuff. And they definitely need new stuff. New thing is what brings people in. You know, it brings in audiences. It keeps people engaged. New is good. New is what we need. New movies, stuff. But legacy content is important. I think the problem is essentially they hit the pause button. They stopped everything when they needed to start making money, and legacy content just went right out the window. Any plans that they had for putting stuff on, we've had a few things drop here and there, the odd show, the odd movie. I think like this month, next month I should say, we're getting like Angels in the Outfield. Just random things, just like 1 or 2 things, not enough to really kind of set stuff up. Personally, rather than spending money on user-generated content, or even just making 1 extra series, I would put together a team there and be like, right, we're just going to focus on getting legacy content out constantly. Just get that. This is something that Disney has, which Netflix doesn't have. They've got all this history, all this stuff there that they could use. And it's not going to break the bank to get that all on there. Obviously, there's licensing issues, quality issues. They might have to scan stuff. There is costs involved, so it's not free. It's not like just taking a VHS off and loading it into Disney Plus. But it just feels to me like they're sat on this massive library and they're not utilizing enough. They've got all the good stuff in there, all the stuff that the most people are going to want. You know, all the big popular films and shows. But there's a lot of stuff that I think they could just flush out the platform. Make it, you know, if they added in 1,000 more titles from their back catalogue, it would look better against, and also it is quality stuff. This is classic stuff. I know, like black and white movies and stuff, they might not feel there's a market for it. But this could be really good for, you know, older viewers as well, or just people that are into movies. It might not bring in a huge amount of viewers, but it's just more content, more stuff to keep people engaged. And if you've got advertising running on it as well, they're making money. I mean, also, if I was like restoring a show or a film, pop it out on, you know, digital to buy. you know, even sub-license it out to, you know, Tubi or something like that for a little bit, you know, to get a little bit of extra cash in that way to cover the cost of doing it. But yeah, to me, it does feel like legacy content they've just abandoned, because it's like they've got the main stuff, it's just not bringing in, it's not, maybe just not bringing in what they want, especially some of these shows and stuff that, you know, they could put on there. It is just very disappointing that there's this massive just hole, and there's different things all over the place, different shows and different movies that they could use. They are restoring stuff, they are bringing stuff back. There obviously is costs involved in this, but for me personally, as I just said, I would much rather they attacked you know, the history and the legacy and get that on Disney Plus, rather than trying to get cheap content from, you know, YouTubers, or even essentially just like, you know, make one or two less shows, but just really just kind of lean in on it. I mean, there's a whole host as well of content which we never really got on Disney Plus yet. You know, you got all the sports, all the Hotstar content. There's loads of things on there that they could put on there, but instead, it just doesn't feel like there's any. All we've got is the new companies or the new studios pumping out new stuff, and that goes to the, you know, the licensing deals and everything goes into it, and there's no one actually trying to do anything. That's how it feels. I mean, there might be one person, but I don't. Maybe they're doing it all themselves, and that's why it's taking so long. But one little title a month is not a lot. I think they need a lot more than that, and there's definitely opportunity there. But great question. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. If you've got a great question as well, drop it in there as well. On Monday, I'll then pick that one up. Also this weekend, I'll have a Q&A on Sunday. But on that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. Laters.